we have a body called the Governors Forum, and they've suddenly become so powerful.
Did you say suddenly?
Yes, it's sudden. It's since the president took ill that they came into prominence,
Well,
underlined in red.
Alera, many people will disagree with you. The governors have become increasingly powerful over the last 7 years. Increasingly.
In the meantime, there is nothing like Governors Forum in our constitution.
Yeah.
So how come we're all sitting back and are allowing them to take such heavy decisions on our behalfs? Or
Well,
is it really on our behalf?
Well, I wouldn't say if it is or if it is not. I'm sure the viewers already know what my answer is to that question. But the governors, when we talk about the governors forum, really, we're really talking about the PDP governors. Of course, other Governor Fashola will be a member of that, but I think it's the governors forum usually comes on strong when it comes to decisions that the PDP as a party should take.
So
They always come.
it's not the party that takes the decision; it's the
Yeah,
Governors Forum
yeah.
that does it on the party's behalf.
And my own reading is that the BOT and the EXCO of the PDP has become somehow
Lame ducks.
somehow, because many of the decisions that will be taken by the POT or the EXCO or even sometimes the delegates, as we gather,
Yes.
who go for the national convention, are the behest of the governors, many times. And so many of the decisions that should be taken by the party organs have been taking over. I don't want to use the word usurped.
Eroded.
I don't want to use usurped, but that would have been the most apt. Seem to have been taken over by the governors, the PDP governors. So the governors forum have become increasingly powerful in the last 7 years. And as you said, there's nothing about that like in our constitution. But again, constitution is one thing, political convention, and well, in Britain they say, well, the constitution hasn't said this and that, but there are conventions and there are traditions. So it's becoming a tradition.
It's becoming a tradition.
Whether
And
the
now-
ruling party will allow that tradition to
continue. And now one of them has been put forward as the vice president.
Well, one of them was put forward as the president at some point. One of them was put forward as the vice president at some
So
point.
watch out, 2011.
Maybe-
one of them
Maybe the Senate
is going to
president
carry the flag of the PDP
may
for the
carry
number one post.
may carry the flag of the PDP for the number one.
No, at
post.
the rate that they're going, it's going to be one of them.
And
It's
you know,
not me.
And someone told me, actually my driver told me yesterday that
Even your driver has a political opinion.
he does have, to be honest with you. I mean, we come here regularly, so he's become familiar with a lot of things. And he was telling me that the ruling party, although I berated him that how could you say the largest party in Africa is greedy? And he says the ruling party, they tend to, give him the impression that their members are greedy and that he sees the governors forum wanting to produce the next president, vice president, senate president, speaker, and that even the clerk of the house, maybe one ex-governor will become the clerk of the house someday. And I said, how
Now
do
that
you
is
mean?
cheeky.
Quite cheeky. And I said, how dare you? Our leaders. But when I pondered over it later on, to my mind, I said, wow, if this trend continues, the governors as a body would want more and more. Remember, some have even alleged that many of the ministers, that the list of the ministerial list has a lot of influences of the governors
Yes,
on the
yes,
respective states.
yes.
So
In fact, there were articles in the papers were saying in the course of the week that President Jonathan is not as much of his man as they had thought, because he now seemed to be waiting for input from here, input from there, and especially input from the governors.
So if you really look at it, if the governors have as much influence as people are claiming over ministerial appointments, I can imagine that they will have influence over appointments to boards. And of course, presently they have influence over chairmen of local governments. They tend to determine who becomes chairman and councillors in respective states.
And how did we get to this pass?
And if all these carpet crossings in the houses of assemblies nationwide, the state houses of assembly nationwide, is anything to go by, a lot of people have fingered many governors, have been responsible for many of the carpet crossings also. So that means they also have influence over who becomes a member of the state house of assembly. And so if the trend continues, then I see my driver's prediction coming true that someday soon the governors might want to determine who becomes the clerk of the house, the sergeant at arms, And who knows
God
what
knows what
else?
else. God knows what else.
Maybe NTA Director General.
Who knows?
You know.
Who knows?
And
And that's an important position.
very important, very crucial, And there was this photograph I saw in the course of the week that got me worried. Maybe you didn't know this. Ex Governors Forum also exists.
Okay.
Ex Governors Forum. Is that in the Constitution also?
No.
Okay, now I have no quarrel with that. I mean, any person can gather. The Constitution allows that. But I saw a photograph and they said ex-governors forum, and there were about 4 gentlemen there, and I saw Dr. Chris Ngige amongst them, and it got me worried. If we're drawing up a list of ex-governors, Dr. Ngige should not be on that list.
Why not?
Because the courts of the land had said his election
Was null and void.
was null and void.
Yeah, but he governed.
He
For about
governed
2 years?
illegally. It was a stolen mandate.
But he governed.
I have nothing against him. I'm one of his sympathizers. I was one of his sympathizers during the time he was having a survey with the cabal, and all of that. But if the laws, if the courts say that he was not duly elected, if you were not duly elected, then you shouldn't be drawing pensions from the state.
Then there will be quite a number of people in that category, because a number of them were.
It was his photograph I saw. So if there are others like him, there, then all of those people should be expunged from the list. I have no apologies for that. They shouldn't be ex-governors. They shouldn't be referred to as ex-governors. If you've not been duly elected, if you governed with a stolen mandate, yeah, all the salaries, all the emoluments that you were paid, let it go. We let you have it. We don't want more complications. We don't want.
But from the day of the ruling, all that should be.
You should cease to address yourself as an ex-governor, and you shouldn't even show your face. It's only in Nigeria that people who have been adjudged by the courts who have benefited from stolen mandates will still parade themselves in public spheres. Honestly, I think Dr. Ngige, I know him to be a gentleman, to be a self-respecting person. I think he will remove himself from that group.
Forum.
Yes, until he's duly elected.
Okay.